Yes, sir.
All right, cool. All right, what's going on YouTube? It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Masawa, Japan, man. Rolling them out. This is going to be episode number, I think, like 76, man. It's crazy because my guy Alan just hit me up with a video, picture this morning at like 4 when I got up there. It's showing like the first one or whatever, man. So it's crazy, man. Number 176, man. It's knocking them down, and the views are starting to go up, man. So it's starting to get that traction, man. And like I said, actually the highest ones, the highest viewed ones are with you, man. So that's some good stuff.
People
collect that, man. It's just like I say, man. All and none of the guests out there, man. But some people just clash better. I mean, not clash, but jive better than others and everything. But yeah, man. So before we get into it, man, what's new? What's been going on? Everything good over there?
Well, this is California. We got another fire. My sky looks crazy again. Our governor says he wants to eliminate gas-powered cars by 2035. Wow. It's all here, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah, he's on some
bull.
He's on some he never had some balls type shit, man. Like, man, dude, you can imagine, dude, like I can I mean, that'd be that one time where the dudes who like, or us petrol heads, like that's the one time you'll see us come out the woodworks. Other than all this other shit going on, all this other stuff, you know, where we like
and rave about the fact that you about to take our cars from us.
Yeah.
Everything else, man, whatever. Can I make it, you know? All right, cool.
Yeah, because we're like, you know, in the world, we see it, you know what I mean? We're family men and everything. We see the issues with it. I mean, I think you're the same like me. If it ain't directly affecting me or my inner circle, or somebody I know will care about, it's just not it's, I guess that's a bad way to say it, man, but it's...
Yes, you care about it,
right?
But there's nothing that I can do about it.
Yeah.
To make it work.
Yeah, but start taking some fuel away, man. Tank my business and thousands of others. Like, dude, come on. Like, imagine Goodwood with fucking electric cars, all electric cars.
Hella quiet.
It's like yeah. I mean, dude, speaking of that shit, before, because this is Formula Drift guys out there, we're going to recap FD rounds, which is was that 3 and 4 Seattle with Throwdown in Monroe. Is that Corvette that was it this year or last year where that Corvette he showed up and he couldn't drive because he hit the batteries, or that was last year? It was an electric Corvette or something like that.
The Camaro. The hybrid Camaro, yeah. From Long Beach when he couldn't run because
they didn't have fire extinguishers.
They didn't do they didn't permit it for that type of driving.
And that car has never competed, is it, or just kind of floated away?
It tried. I think it did qualifying and practice, but I don't recall it making into competition.
Yeah, man. That's. I mean, again, I drove a Tesla like a couple months ago, and it's definitely something I want to have, but the option to flip black, not just to stick you in that. Because I'm like, dude, it's never going to happen, man. There's way too many oil tycoons in Texas. And, I mean, you know, I've been to Iraq 3 times, man. And when you're there, it's like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, we're just, like, trying to stay alive. So, like, dude, we're there for a reason. And it's the safeguard motherfucker shit.
What was that old Dave Chappelle skit? Give me some of that oil!
Yeah, come on, dude. You gotta be real. But hey, man, before we lose too many people talking about this shit, man, let's get into the FD rounds or whatever, man. Like I said, I'll run them off right here. Like again, like I said, Lex is our resident FD, you know, guy right there, because until I get some skin in the game in the States, man, even by watching it, you got boots on the ground there, man. So you see more than other people see. You've been around it, and like I say, one of your inner circle guys was on a podium, so we definitely want to speak about Mr. JTP and all that run, man. So, but anyway, I'm gonna do the breakdown for the guys who haven't seen it. Of course, you go online and see it if you haven't seen it. So this is FD rounds 3 and 4, which you got the back-to-back, which we'll talk about that. That thing right there, which again, I like it. You know, it's truncated things, and I think it may be utilized even under normal circumstances to kind of get, you know, some more space in there, couple up 2 rounds, and give guys like a little room to rebuild and stuff like that. So anyway, we had the rounds 3 and 4 Seattle. So from round 3, first place we had JR Von Gidding. We had second place Frederick Osbo. Third place was Michael Essa. Then moving on to the fourth, we had JR again with the back-to-back JTP. So we had a 1 and 2 Mustang finish there. And then we had Mr. Turk in third place, who we mention he's always on the podium or right there. And then speaking on that, he's overall current standings points champion. Moving on to Pro 2, because we just put this out there so we could talk about the stuff later. So Pro 2, we got Pro 2 round 2. So Pro 2's only doing one round or whatever. So we had the first place Dimitri Brutsky.
Yes.
We had second place was going to be Chase Smith, and then our guy we just talked about is Austin Matta. And again, we're going
nothing else matters.
Yeah, and we're going to bring him back up, man, because again, this is like Matta reached out on an Instagram post, and we kind of stopped there. So I'm gonna definitely get him on here and everything. He was pretty appreciative of us talking about him like that and everything in a good light. And I got some stuff I want to say about that later, man, about simply just showing up. You show up, shit happens, man. If you sit on the bench and you bitch about your life or whatever, stuff happens. And before we get too far away from that, the Pro 2 current champion points leader is Dimitri Brutsky as well, the first place winner of this. So it's looking good for him. If Matta somehow stays on a podium and near it, for his rookie season, man, to have that obscurity and all that shit, which is social media shit, not a big deal. But if he finishes on the podium, like we said, man, I think it'll be if he finishes on the podium, and I think if LZ gets at least in the semis or once or twice or something like that, it'll be a good run for the social media drift guys and everything, man. So anyway, man, going back to the beginning,
cool
man.
About Matta though is, like I said, it's like wrestling. He's heel turn baby face.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a really cool story, because he seemed like I saw his response to you on your post, and then I kind of just looked through his stuff. He seemed like he's mellowed out and been a dude.
Just getting older, man. I guess
Yeah. Everybody be wilding the hell out.
Because when the whole spirit, like that smear campaign, but when he was like leaning on the card and talking about the money, he's probably what 18, 19. Like
I don't know. Is he still relatively young? Is he like in his 20s or something?
Yeah, I think he's probably mid-20s. I'll look it up, man. I feel bad for not knowing that, but there's a lot of guys. I mean, most guys I would think are like in their mid-20s, 25, 26, 27 maybe. But he's probably younger than that, man. But time flies and that shit. Instagram shit or whatever, man, it becomes popular so quick that you don't realize that see me out there. What is that? What's that? See me outside girl or whatever? Fuck, I don't know, the Daniel whatever. That shit's like
shorty, yeah.
that shit's going on almost 10 years.
I swear, she's 26.
Yeah.
15. But yeah, I'm kind of the thing with memes though. Memes will be 15 years old and it's still relevant, still floating. So,
right.
Yeah.
Like the one that kind of like every time I see it, man, somebody post that dude like it's like he was like, give me some waffle fries. And that dude
give me some waffle fries.
That shit unforgettable, man. If you guys out there ain't seen that shit, man, type unforgettable into YouTube and prepare to die laughing.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, if she was sleeping.
But yo, let me ask you something. This is a question I need to know.
Yeah.
Why is American drifting in the rain so much slower than international drifting in the rain?
Oh, man, I just think it comes down to practice, man. Because on that we talked about it last time. Japanese don't like drifting. They will do it, but they do not. They prefer not to. They don't practice in the rain either.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if it comes down to inclement weather, we talked about this before a while ago, man, a little bit. I think if it comes down to inclement weather, the best are Europeans, man. I would think because
mm-hmm.
because they driving in. I mean, look, especially guys in Europe or like not German area, but it's fucking gloomy and always misty, overcast, always.
UK,
so those guys,
those places, yeah.
And then I'm not good with flags, so I don't know where Dimitri. Do you know where he's from, or if that's a European country?
I don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know which one it is, but I mean, case in point, he wins first place there. It's raining. I did see the timeouts and everything, man. But I think overall, again, Australian guys never get rain. American guys, if you're in California, I mean West Coast, you generally never get too much rain. Florida gets Florida, I would think, gets like the random monsoon shit. But I think the best overall inclement weather drivers, like pound for pound, I think was coming from your snow and rain, because they just see a lot more of it, man. But yeah, man, the rain is an equalizer. And I think in the rain, man, it's like those guys who are not necessarily really, really fast. I think they look for that shit because they like, hey man, I actually practice in the rain, so they're looking forward to it. And it's a different skill sets, and to attain 800, 900 horsepower or 1,000 horsepower in the rain, that's a hard task, man. You know, because that's some other shit. Anyway, man, I don't want to get too far, man. Before we get so like, all right, so round 3, man. What was your break? I would say start from like the semis or whatever, man. Your breakdown. I say, well, I guess from what you can remember, the breakdown to get us to the JR coming first, Osbo third, and Essa second. Osbo second, and Essa third, man. So how was those battles going down?
Again, starting from early rounds, you got LZ going up against a straight hard hitting vet. He did not have the greatest of times or the greatest of days, and I don't remember if it was car failure or what, but he fell by the wayside. LZ proceeded on. All the other battles are pretty straightforward, pretty standard, but it really started to get interesting because, like I said on the internet, like Vaughn had a real silent climb up, and I didn't look at the brackets. Typically, I look at the size of the bracket to see who has the harder, tree to climb, essentially. But Vaughn had a real silent, run up. His runs were pretty straightforward. Get him in, get him out, and then all of a sudden you start paying attention. Like, whoa, hold up, Vaughn's in the final 4. Right. So it was a good amount of driving, like driving, real driving. But nothing really stood out the day before, to be honest. Right. It was just kind of like straightforward. It was all right. It was pretty cool. I liked Essa, how he showed to be like same calm, poised dude that he always is. But it's cool that car, I don't think he's made any super radical changes on that car. Aside from different things from components from sponsors that he grabs throughout the years. But it was just, I don't know, dude, it was cool to see Essa get up on the podium again. Because, I mean, a lot of people don't know, dude has had a super tiny program for ages.
He's been around he's been durable, man.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, at one point in time, it was just him and the homie Stan, So that was really cool. Osbo was kind of expected, him getting somewhere on the podium. And, just Vaughn battling out Chelsea. I don't know if I liked the call. So what happened with those that weren't following or didn't see yet,
yep.
Him and Dye were on the bank. Now, when you're coming on that bank full throttle, really fast, both of those cars are really powerful. Chelsea's car has a whole lot of grip. He's gluing it to the wall on the bank, and he's going full throttle. So when Dye's closing in on the later portion of the bank, as he's closing in and he's finally setting in on his angle, Chelsea's ready to slow it down. Now, they say it's not a braking area, but if you look at everybody consistently, they pitch big angle, grab handbrake, go, and dig into the outer zone. So there are mile-per-hour drops, yes. There may not be big slowdown elements, but there are a mile-per-hour drop. So I think that was pretty standard of what Chelsea did, but at the time that Dye was settling in on his angle and he got really close to Chelsea, the tires touched. And when their tires touched, if anybody that drifts, when you get that tire stopping or wheel stopping, your steering wheel goes crazy.
Yep.
And it's I've ripped thumbnails off of my finger. It's been like brutal when I've had things like that happen, But Chelsea managed it. stayed on the throttle, kept it going, and it was like an exciting moment to cheer, like, oh, dude's a monster. But the judges deemed that to be a slowing down element, which judged against him being the cause of the impact. And that was it for his day, and it was it's iffy because it's a tough call. It is what it is, and I do fully understand it that they don't have that deemed as a slowdown area, but it was kind of par for the course for that portion of track. And sometimes you get tough ones, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it was for the guys out there, it was raining like the whole round 2, 3, everything, or just raining? Was it raining in this time or dry?
It has stopped raining, so it was essentially dry. But I'm very certain in those areas, like on the top portion of the track near the wall, where all that stuff that's been sitting up there is some moisture that's held by all the rubber, debris, and dirt and stuff there. So I'm sure it wasn't like 100%, positive traction there. Probably a good 80 though, and managing that high of a line and dies down low, and then he comes up high to match it, and then goes to match angle, and then goes to get proximity. So that big long sweep can get chopped down pretty quickly when you're managing your line, then bringing up the line, then your angle, then proximity. Dude, that by the time you look up, you are at the end of the bank, and that just seems like that's what happened, but it just is what it is, because the technicalities of the rules do come into play if they deem it the fact that he was slowing down. So if it wasn't impact, or if it wasn't let's say a humongous impact that made the chase go so off, you know what I mean? Like if it was just a couple of touches and they kept going through to outer zone, and then they were able to clean it up and transition and go to the outer zone again before the inner clip, I don't think they would have even taken a huge exception to it. But the simple fact that bumpers blew off and people went all over the place, then it's like, they had to make an exception with it. So,
got you, man. And now, and also in the we mentioned it. Pretty much everybody there has seen the ASBO intake, the explosion. Was that? I mean, he won second place, obviously, so it wasn't. So I'm guessing that was in the fourth round. The mechanical failure.
Fourth round, yeah. Right. Because so whatever happened with that, bad timing, because Turek had just took a big slam, which destroyed his suspension. So as Papadakis' team is teaming two cars, they kind of had to say, okay, Fabricator, get on the manifold, and we're all going to be over here working on Turek's car to get it back.
Because they're watching, there's a picture of it right there.
Literally ignored his laptop when it said danger to manifold and closed it and kept it boosting, and that's what happened. That was the end result. It was interesting because and I know it's like if we have another intake manifold, slam it on real quick. 5 minutes. We don't even need 5 minutes. Just throw that on there. But the fact that they had to fabricate, which is clamp it back together, press it back together, and try to weld it, and hope that essentially they didn't get it done in time. But dude, that would have just been a job that you're like, well, I really hope that this stays working, because when you weld stuff, you got to tank it and make sure it doesn't leak and all this stuff. And dealing with that much air pressure to split your intake manifold, you're definitely going to be dealing with a lot of pressure that'll have a leak in it. So if it doesn't get welded properly,
right. And that like I said with that, man, like I'll bring that. Well, I'll bring that manifold thing up there. I want to talk about that separately because that's a some of the people out there I've seen kind of were they were a little bit too harsh on that, man. So let me get this right.
On what? On
the manifold thing, and like taking jabs at it, and kind of like I want to clear the rounds first, and then we'll talk about that, because that, like, for the manifold deal, just really quickly, like a lot of guys, man, they never made anything, they never made a part, and that, from what I've seen, it was a 3D printed part, new technology. They're trying new stuff in the competition, man. That takes balls. And then the fact that he actually won with that part, and nobody knew I mean, I guess the people who follow his thing knew it was printed, but I didn't know it was printed. You know what I mean? And that's like pretty damn cool. And you know, they ain't running no. That's not no child's play. That Oswald, he don't really play with anything less than 1,000 horsepower. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah. So all right. So for the round 4, again, we had JR, JTP, and Ryan Turek, man. So talk us through what led up to that combination of guys on the podium for round 4, man.
Battles, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody had clean battles. So, I guess who had the most eventful side? I think they both had a really eventful side, bro. Vaughn didn't have any slouches coming up his ladder, and Justin didn't have any slouches coming up his ladder. I mean, Justin went through guys like Matt Field and, guys of that nature. So it was like, and Matt Fields hasn't been having the best of luck, but he's a type of dude that is a fighter. He's if this was like the 80s, he'd consistently be using words like radical and all of that. And that's all good, dude. We're gonna work through it. He's that kind of cat. So him having a couple tough breaks so far, but the problem is these weekends are really short.
Right.
But they're 2 in 1. So yeah, he's got half a season behind him where he still has to kind of wake it up when it's technically only been 2 weekends. So Justin going through that, and his car just seemed to be on. This year he went with a sequential transmission. Justin has had a issue where when he comes into a corner, he'll dump a gear down. And when he goes to accelerate out, he'll clutch and shift up, or he'll try to just straight shift it up, and it'll miss shift. He's had it for years, dude. That has literally events or rounds that he would have won, should have won, like, the battles he should have won. It'll be lost from a miss shift, and a lot of people don't recognize that that's what has been going on with him. But now that he has that, it's just like grabbing, it's up, and he has not had that era of a mistake. So the only things that can bite him in his butt are, chase runs or overcooking it. But his car is so dialed, the weight has been dropped and everything, and he just seems so much more comfortable in this new chassis. It's just, I don't know, it's not quite on the level of grip and hook that the RTR boys have in their Mustangs, but it is a lot of grip in that car, and it looks really good. So he's using it to his advantage and running through, his side of the podium, his side of the bracket was pretty good. I was surprised with, his and Turek's battle because, I don't know. They used to show. They probably did. I'd have to check back and see. That when they show the win records of how you've done versus that person. And at one point in time, it was just like it was a steady climb of Turek coming back from clawing back from wins, and he was getting them. But good run, Vaughn. He and Chelsea, I believe they got into it. Like they had a pretty good wreck, dude. I mean, a good size wreck. It got to the point that Chelsea was in the pits swapping his whole subframe and differential because it was the rear end of that Mustang was destroyed, So they both, and again, this was a weird one because as they're both up on the wall going in, Chelsea makes impact and washes into the wall at the same time that Vaughn made impact and washed into the wall. If you looked at them, they were identical where they both went like this. And so they judged that Chelsea was at fault for the reason that Vaughn washed. So they gave, the advantage to Chelsea, and all Vaughn had to do was run a clean lead. But it was to me, purely coincidental that both of those guys slammed the wall and got dragged in at the same exact time. So I feel like that could have been a wash and would have left it up to one run, but they gave Vaughn the benefit, and Chelsea got, got caught behind with that BS. And so then Chelsea, they get the rear end together. I don't remember if they changed that driver left, the front left tire, or front left wheel. And I think that they did, because that was such a hard hit, and I know they had to check the front at least. Mm-hmm. But his next battle, going with Turek, he comes off of the wall, laying it out there, and he DB'd a tire and understeered straight into the infield. So, his day was done. But, oh, man, we were over here thinking that we were going to get a full Mustang podium, which has been insane. Because there's no crowd, so who else are they going to hit besides themselves in the top step?
Inside joke for the guys out there who don't know about the Mustang history in the last 10 years, man. It's not been good.
It has not been good, man. But the Mustangs are really fighting hard. And, with the absence of James Dean and Peter Weissek, it's interesting, bro. Really, it's just the Mustangs out there swinging at everybody. They are swinging at everything. What's the Japanese guy with the S15?
I should know, because the buy now in Japan is my that's my one of my main exporters, man. But I can't recall his name. I'll look at that real quick right here. But
to get his name, because I would definitely like to credit him for his name. But he's been jamming, boy.
Yeah. I was talking to Rahman, and he was saying that he's getting more comfortable, because the biggest thing is when he gets there, man. It's it's just kind of everything looks big. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. I was talking to a guy the other day, man, and I was like, dude, and if you come to Japan, man, everything is just in America is just fucking big and oversized. The trucks, the gas cans, in Japan, everything is compact and petite, and your fucking large size drink is small in the States and some shit.
Yeah. That's standard. We got gallon jugs for everything. But so
his name is Wataru Masuyama.
Mm-hmm. The wing choice on that S15 is questionable, but dude is jamming. Yeah. It's very cool to watch him drive. They had that car with so much grip and so soft in the rear. He wasn't you'll see Vaughn and Chelsea, they'll bounce the inside wheel. He's coming off of the bank, and the wheel is in the air the entire time around the bank into outer zone. That car was soaking so good in the rear, it just had the front end lift up, and it's cool. It looks rad. It translates as rad. He's on the loud pedal a lot, so he is looking very promising. Texas is next, I do believe, and if he's driving like that on a very flat surface like Texas, where you could just see all the way around the track, no walls to go around to kind of wait until you clear daylight to see where you're going, I think he's going to do awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing in the translation. They say, of course, they didn't expect, and that's a realistic thing. Of course, everyone wants to go there and dominate stuff, but he was that was his first, his first time competing in America was the last round at St. Louis. Well, last 2 rounds of St. Louis and everything. So it's just adapting to the overall, in Japan again. There's nothing here with a bank that drifts. They got the test track where they test the fucking cars to see how fast they can go on the production cars, but they don't drift there. You know what I mean? So there's no bank drifting in Japan. The closest,
really,
there's none. There's no banks there's no because I remember it was actually a really notable driver, man. I can't remember his name. Actually, I don't even want to call him out about it, but he actually hit me up because he was like, hey man, I'm about to go to the States to do this stuff, and I never drifted a bank, and he figured because I was American that I did. I'm like, I've been on banks but back then I didn't have the skills to even drift it. I didn't have the skills or the power actually to hold the drift on the bank. So actually, to be honest, I just know I was told, hey man, when you get in there, you gotta fucking go and keep it down, because the minute you let up off of it, that shit's gonna suck you into the wall, or it'll do weird shit.
And that's what's kind of cool. So LZ, he kind of vlogs a lot of his experience, and he was saying, for this being their first time on a big bank, a lot of speed and everything, he wasn't aware of certain things, which some of us have found out to know and things like that. But so, if the car is too gripped up, you don't have enough wheel speed, the car's going to push down. It doesn't matter how fast you think the car is or what you think it's going to do. That car is going to drive down the bank if you don't have enough wheel spin. So, he was saying, people are telling him to change your toe on that leading side. Things like that could work, but I don't know about you. Me, myself, personally, like, I get it, and I know NASCAR does stuff because all they do is a specific turn, so they do things on odd side setups and combinations. But, they got to the bottom line of, well, let's do whatever and then change gearing to increase the wheel speed, and that seemed to be pretty interesting to watch them try to figure it out, because he ended up posting it up on the wall and having really solid runs. He bit himself in the ass because he came off of inner clip to go to the last outer zone. He has a nice lazy rotation, which is fine at that point, to handbrake, and then kind of would have wanted a good clutch kick, or maybe I don't know. I would think go with a higher gear just to clutch kick it enough so when it does have wheel speed, it's not getting wheel speed and coming up short and not filling the zone, So, that I kind of think that's the only reason he lost his round, because he would have made it out of the top 16 and he would have went to the 8 for that. Nice. And, it's little things, watching him have his growing pains and get the little bumps. He'll kind of figure it out, but it's cool that he's documenting it. He's showing it, and people get to see him take his bumps and bruises and kind of dig through it, So I like that. I like that part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was like, of course I read some of the comments. It's like I got a whole damn friends list on Facebook is people who drift. So I kind of just roll through the feed and see things. And there was like some guy posted up there was like, one of the things that's cool about what he's doing, and we mentioned it before, him being a social media guy, YouTube and everything. He's documenting things. He's showing things that normally doesn't get showed. Kind of talking about things that normally don't get talked about. And they were saying, some guys are saying, I guess that's close to him, that he's even thinking about dialing it back, because he's now, he's going to get better if he stays in it. You don't want to put out too much of your sauce, because you got everybody watching you.
Mentioned that,
right.
Yeah.
You got everybody watching you, so you gotta kind of, you can put out general stuff that's general knowledge, but when it comes down to like, hey man, my car likes this amount on this track because all the settings are different. He'll have to. And it's like, so he's not only learning to compete professionally, but he's going to have to also learn how to tailor the media to
his intellectual property is what he's doing.
Right, because you're giving out your stuff, man. So that's something. It's just like, again, like, you're not going to be. I know a lot of stuff, man, but I wouldn't walk into Top Secret like, hey man, tell me your stuff, because honestly, there's not too many ways to skin a cat. You put the pistons in there, blah blah blah. But there's some little things that people do to make those builds a little bit better and like last longer and things like that. So it is what it is. But hey man, before we get up the Pro 2 guys, so how was you didn't mention straight up. It is what it is. You can't expect like the Pro 2 guys are they're doing their thing. The rain is inclement, but you said the Pro 2 it was kind of lackluster, I guess, this round.
It just wasn't too exciting because of the rain. You get slow battles close to the end. It started to dry out. Cars sped up. That was cool. But then, that was during the middle of everything. Towards the end,
check my battery right here. Make sure I got my. Fucking car guys. I got a jump box charging my phone.
So, yeah. So it was just. it kind of started off slow. The middle got better, and then it started to taper off. But I mean, the cool things about it is I got to see my boy Josh Love go up against Matta, which was an interesting battle. So I mean, dude, it was just cool. Matta's gluing it to the wall. At one point, he activated active arrow. You know, he rubs the wall. His trunk flips up and makes a big ass air dam, which is just like, I mean, to people that like, you know, people like watching car crashes. So that excitement hypes up the fact that, oh, dude, he scrubbed the wall physically. I seen it. It's not just speculation because he was so close. His pieces are coming apart, and he's still sideways and held it around. And so, you know, the battles were a lot slower because of the rain, but those that were prepared to drive, and they drove pretty good. And I mean, I believe the podium was very fair, given the experience that they had. You know what I mean? For not the experience in driving, but the experience they had with that round. Given the wet, Monroe was like that. I think Austin's driven that area quite a bit. I think, didn't he compete? I think he competed Evergreen or something like that. But either way it goes, he may or may not have had more experience in the wet in that area. So a lot of his battles looked pretty sturdy. He had a few tires dropped on a chase run, but I mean, you know, it didn't kill him. And, you know, just good battles made his way onto the podium. I really want to see them put it all out really strong, really fast, really dry rounds and see where it lays here round 3 in Texas. But this one was all right.
Yeah. I think what happened, man, was because all I heard, man, from people about the last round, the St. Louis round, that everybody was like, man, they were just raving about the Pro 2 out the gate, man. It was just a lot of great battles. So I kind of knew it was kind of one of those things where you just like, it's kind of like the co-main event is fire on UFC, then the main event is like is whack. Is like kind of
vice versa.
So I mean, like or you get a kind of like a fast knockout. Like I don't know if anybody that watch UFC with Adesanya knocked out Paulo Costa, which was like it was expecting like some war. And anybody who thought anything other than that, man, you kind of more of a casual watcher than like. There's no way that bull was going to take the specialist out like that, man. Because that dude
I thought the gimmicks was good. Him handing him a white belt.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude, that dude is crazy. You know, and the thing, Adesanya bought he's actually it's kind of cool because the car related. He bought I think a martial art or something like that. He bought something with that when he won a belt. He bought and he's not even a car guy. He just liked the shape of the car, he said. So,
yes.
You know what I mean? That's cool. You know what I mean? So now he says he's looking to buy the drop top Rolls Royce, and then he put in a meme, cop pull him over, say, how much I run you back, kid? He was like, it cost a lot. And the dude name is Costa. So he put his name in there and shit. So, but yeah, man, the shit was pretty dope, man. Again, what I wanted to bring up real quick before I forget it, man. On my end, that you chat on what you want, I'll bring the picture back up here. But you can probably sit on your end too, the intake manifold. So, the biggest thing I kind of like, I was looking at guys like, of course everybody's, because even Osbo poked fun at it. He was like, hey, go and drop your best line from Fast and Furious, and of course everybody's gonna drop the lame ass, the floor. Everybody was saying the same shit. The floor pan rolling away and the intake manifold blowing. And the thing about it, people thought, even I thought it was like, nah, man, you can't blow the wells in the intake. Yeah, you can, depending on the amount of boost you're running and how thick that shit is. If it's 2 millimeters, you're probably gonna blow it. That's why most manifolds are like 3 to 6. And they were saying, some guys were saying the casting was good, but it could have been like, I mean, even from the pictures right here, I can't tell, but it looks like about maybe 4 or maybe 3.5 or 4 millimeters thickness. Mm-hmm. So they were saying it needs to be like a 6 because of the design. So I couldn't tell if it was. So to me, it seemed they're saying it's all 3D. the whole thing is 3D, so it's all one piece.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It doesn't look like it's split on a weld or anything.
Yeah, it just broke at the. Yeah. So and then I mean also too, because I mean I'm guilty of it when I don't run like for my own shit. Customer stuff I put all them back unless they say no, but I don't put a lot of bracing on it. Like I put one brace on it, but like all the factory shit where it's like 8 fucking braces. Nah, man, that's just taking time to get to it. So I don't know if they braced it or like to hold it to the engine, because if it's like if it's doing this kind of number and like flopping around a little bit while you jumping off the little transitions while hitting how much power he has, that's enough to, I guess, to crack shit. And it probably was a small crack and then hit the boost of nitrous or whatever, and then it exploded and shit. But my whole thing on it is
it had to have had some nitrous combination with it that made it happen. Dude, but that had to make an epic sound in the cab.
Oh yeah.
That's the boom.
Yeah.
Probably like, I don't know what happened.
It's like fuck, man. With the engine, because it's always like when you hear that pop or some shit, or you get a new guy who ain't like it happened a couple of times with customers, man, and they call me hysteric, like, hey man, I just heard this loud pop or whatever. I'm like, yeah, remember those oversized ass clamps I told you about? They were so fucking tight and the one leg is sticking up in the air like that. Yeah, that shit's like this is sideways because they cranked it hard as fuck. Yeah, that shit's like it's too big. So you're
and then cooler couplers and piping go boom.
Yeah. And they're like, hey man, I don't know what happened. I'm like, dude, you're a loud pop, right? So yeah, look at your coupler. Oh, okay, cool, man. It's like, all right, later.
Look at that, man. That thing go right when the boost is going into the engine. So that was like poof.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And like I said, I've seen the picture and I've seen that it was definitely 3D. My thing on it and my take on it, and we'll take this out a little bit, but my take on it, man, is guys out there, man, who are into racing, getting into it and everything. It's for the young guys. All you grown up, you're 20 years old. When you came out, HKS told me, I always bring those guys up because they're like the top guys or whatever in the market or whatever, and everybody else that you call out, they've been around since you've been born, so that's all you've known. But you don't know that at one point, like I told you, Megan Racing was fucking sold specifically on eBay storefront. Now Megan Racing is in Super Street, is in Doherty 10, Option, all these different magazines, man. So like this part that these guys are developing, they won a round with it, and they were winning rounds with it previously before it cracked, and they're doing their own R&D. So to do R&D during a pro event, man, that takes balls, because most people want to be safe and make sure they make it through the round and they got something that's like proven. But to R&D during the event, man, that's big shit, because when they re-engineer it and they get it out there for sale, they know for sure that had 1,000-something horsepower with nitrous running through it. And so it's big talk. Yeah. And we won rounds with it, while R&D in it. So, and again, some people brought up the fact that they like LZ shit, because LZ, he'll talk about failures, he'll talk about shit breaking, whereas most guys, when they have stuff break, they try to hush it or whatever, or don't put it out there. Myself, I've been guilty of it too, because when you put certain shit out there, then people be like, oh man, I knew it, or this, that, and the other. It's like, no, I'm testing it, because if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, you don't see it no more. And that's the biggest thing.
It goes under the rug real quick.
Yeah.
But you know what's, again, we have to say, they're not getting as much drive time as they typically do, so they're essentially not testing the parts as much and as rigorously with the car set on kill as they typically would.
Right.
When something like this happens and the gremlin just throws a whole wrench in your season, essentially, because you didn't even get to make it to the line, it's, they aren't able to test as much. So, cool thing about it being 3D printed, Papadakis probably could have called right there to the shop and be like, hey, I need you to remake 2 of these manifolds. Let's go in this area, this thickness, change the file, go and print it up. Because I'm sure it takes like a couple of hours, like 10, 12 hours to print something like that.
Right. That's but that's fucking crazy, man. I didn't even know you could. I didn't know 3D printing. It looks like aluminum or something like that.
It looks just like it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy that. I mean, because last thing looking at 3D printing is dudes, of course, doing like the hard plastics or shit like kind of like hard plastics like what is it, clutch, the fucking clutch lining tools and stuff like that. Like I didn't know dudes are 3D printing fucking metal parts.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. So that's the technology's getting up there. Of course, I'm pretty sure that printer costs a shit ton of money. Yeah. So, and then you gotta look at, if they get it out there to the public, it's not too many people that's gonna buy it because, they're gonna buy it, but something that's gonna take that long to produce, of course, it's production. But if it takes long to produce, you gotta fucking know you can't get a Rolex for $10, and the reason why, because that Rolex takes a long time to make. You know what I'm saying? So family.
And then also, not a lot of guys are going to be doing their setup like that car anyway. They went from direct injection to standard stuff, and there's quite a few things that they changed on that motor. So it's cool that part is out there and available for those that want to do that. But I'm not sure that there's going to be a ton of people running to slap that pay now button instead of head to the store. But
yeah, because there's going to be some other ones out and everything, and then there's going to be, of course, one thing I've seen on his page in particular, Osbo's, where I got the image from, was everybody, all the guys, all the droves come in like, man, we're running we're like, who the fuck is we, number one? Like, is it you or your buddy? It's like, we means like we running this much nitrous through the plastic one and this and this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, you guys are hitting that shit one time in a race. If you win, you do whatever. Yeah. These guys are competing, man. And that's why I think a lot of guys blur the line between, I don't give a fuck, Tommy, HKS, whatever. That shit's going to break, son. That shit's going to break at some fucking point. And when people act like they got all this shit in their beta, it's invincible. Like, that's a really bad thing. And when I tell guys when I install shit, I'm like, look, only thing I'm guaranteeing here is my installation is proper, my torques are proper. The shit's in the correct way, facing the right way and stuff like that. That's all I can guarantee. I cannot guarantee like if this has a mechanical or defective part. That's why they put that disclaimer there. This off-road use only. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys out there, they just don't get the thing. They just think if they got top of the line, top shelf, that they're gonna be set for life. It doesn't mean that, man.
And dude, what is a more harsh environment aside from a dyno? What is a more harsh environment than drifting for being on a load that long? That's a heavy load with the car operating at its peak volume.
Yeah.
Pressures, everything is operating that hard. Dude, a dyno run,
it's so many fatalities.
Couple seconds on a humongous load, but it's literally a couple seconds. A 20-second bank. Then it's like it's a lot of load on the car in less than perfect conditions. You may not get so much air on the front end. You may not have such a cool engine at the time. So underhood engine temps are different. It's like there's so much going on during drifting under the hood that that is the extreme side of failure. You know, and motors, there's that sensational dyno video of that diesel's motor blowing the whole front of the vehicle off from the dyno and everything going. Yeah, that's a sensationalized once in a million times you're gonna see that happen. Yeah. But who's seen an intake manifold split and bust like that?
Speaking of that shit, man, like that dyno video, that dude on the thing, that's why you don't you set your camera up and get the fuck away from it, man. Because especially if it's an inline engine, the shit's gonna go like, it's gonna go fucking up if something goes like right. But like these, like I've been seeing motherfuckers with a V engine standing off the side, like, dude, the fucking pistons are going like this, right? Yeah, you're standing right there, so a fucking piston comes up the block and punch you in the fucking face, knock your head off, and your life is done, or you're incapacitated. So. Yeah, dynos, man. It's weird. Now you mentioned dynos. It's like, you'll be on the track and beat the shit out of a car, but something about a car being on a dyno, this screaming,
scary.
It's like, and then as soon as you leave that fucking dyno, you do the same thing on a fucking highway, but it's different, man.
Good. No,
What you mean that damn, dude? I hope this shit don't blow, man. I hope this shit don't blow.
I told JTP, take my car and do it, man. And then like, hell no, you come on down here, let's get to this diner. I mean, where do I stand? Because with rotaries, the problem with the rev, that flywheel will come up out of there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're gonna go upside. You know what I mean? The day they used to sell those ballistic shields for the transmission tunnels.
I gotta run that and fucking because the cappuccino joint I was telling about, I gotta run a ballistic shield and I'm gonna run like a fucking shit like 9-10 millimeter thick fucking steel thing, like because the cappuccino I was talking about, that damn if I'm sitting down in a car, the flywheel is gonna be at my kneecaps, like literally like this. The flywheel is here, like rotating, and my kneecaps are right there, just rotating.
And that's a K car that's built for only 660 cc's.
Yeah,
and you put out all tension in that thing, let alone. I'm sure you're gonna have to use. What transmission are you running on?
I'm gonna run the W58, but at the same time, I'm not gonna do any insane power. It's going like 450 horsepower is shit tons of power in that car, because I did the math, power to weight, that's equivalent to 1200 horsepower.
Yeah, so I mean,
so there's no need. So I'm not gonna really be doing anything that the Jay-Z can't handle or the W58 can't handle. But at the same time, I'm like,
familiar with the equipment that close to major, because dude, there's so many dudes walking around. Oh, I lost my legs because the came through.
Yeah. That shit, that's the shit where people like wonder why I don't really use flywheel bolts, because those shit stretch. And that's where I've never had, knock on wood, I never had a clutch or anything come loose, because I always use fresh bolts. You use the proper sealant and adhesive where they tell you, or don't use it, because some guys will be using shit when it's not even supposed to be used. It says don't use, or use the red what is it, the not RTV, but the thread lock shit.
Yes,
So I use red or green. Never blue is like for water shit. So you don't use that. But but yeah, man, it's just like a lot of stuff, man. When shit's getting built, a lot of guys just don't they don't know what's going on, so they're quick to holler at what the next guy is running or next guy is doing, man. So I gave them, I seen it, and I was like, for me, instantly major props, because that was in there. They knew it was a test item, and they still put it in there, which means they trust their ingenuity, and they're trusting that their system is working. And then also to put it out there to the public is cool, because again, like the dude said about LZ, he shows his failures where they're at that level where they could have hit that and say, fucking this broke or that broke. They could have hit that. They could have not shown that defect right there, because nobody knew what it was. So,
the tightest thing that he showed, or that he even spoke about, because I know that feeling, but he spoke on it. It was good that he's speaking on it on the other side, that he had successes. But he said that when the round was starting, he was scared. He was texting his girl like, "Yo, I bit off more than I could chew. I ain't about this shit. I mean, this shit fun, but not this shit."
Who loses, LZ?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And at the beginning of the round, there was so much stuff going on. He was so intimidated. He's texting his girl like, "Yeah, I'm just about to stick to drifting in Japan and fun runs, because this is wild and just the anxiety of it." You know what I mean?
And that's dope as shit right there, because the thing about it, like most people issues is they don't have the funding. Again, I don't know his pockets. I never would care to know. I know he's well off, and if he keeps the content going out that he's got going out, and also his business stuff or whatever. And so money is not the problem. It's just like he realized that, like and that's what a lot of people need to realize. It ain't, you can hit. The shit's good either way, man. If he wins, great. If he doesn't win, he's gonna put out his results and his experience, and it's showing dudes it don't fucking matter if you got the money. It's a bunch of other shit. Your team gotta be there. You gotta have a lot of shit in line to get on that podium, man, consistently.
But as a driver, you could have the funding, the money, the team, but when you strap in that seat and you pull them harnesses, and you say, "Good luck," and close that door, boy, it's
just
you.
Yeah, it's just you.
It's your time. You standing on the stage, the lights is off. You can't see nobody. You just know it's time for you to do something. And that's a big thing to take in when you kind of like, oh shit, man's next to me been here for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I've been here 15 days.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what's about to happen, but I'm not comfortable here today.
Yeah.
I just lost a motor, kind of. I had, deposits in my oil and all of this, and we're on a second motor, and I got a lot more shit going. I don't need to be here,
Yeah, that's true, man. That's like true because you got the it's kind of like I was watching Mike Tyson. You watch Mike Tyson podcast?
Oh yeah.
So the hot boxing, man, and it's funny, man. He's training now, and so you can see he's like waking up, like he's a different dude in those interviews now.
Talk about this too. Yeah. Roy Jones was looking at what we looking at, and Roy said, "Hold up."
Yeah, I heard about it.
Pay for this.
Yeah.
They said, "I'll figure it out." Hold up. He can't knock me out.
Yeah.
Tyson said, I don't know how to stop that.
Yeah. He's like, I can't help this shit.
He said, all right, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. I did see somebody say, he's like, because I mean, like, you look at the video, man, and it's like, you look at Roy, man, and Roy, I mean, again, people out there don't know, man, you got YouTube. Like, Roy was one of the greatest of all times, hands down. It's just like what he did to guys and how he did it while like putting on the show. But time does different things to different people. Tyson, he went to jail or whatever. He did all this stuff there. And then he took himself out. Roy kept fighting, and he was getting KO'd too.
But
and
Roy wakes up in the morning with them 50-year-old man aches.
Yeah.
And he's looking at another dude that's about the same age, and his eyes is rolling back like a shark, and he's just wham. Hey, cuz, hell no.
Yeah, dude, it's like, and the funniest shit about it, man, Tyson says what he want, even without training, man. It's just like, dude, when you do something so long, even when Tyson was like in his chill mode, when he was just starting the podcast, he was kind of sedated most of the times and like real chill. He still knocked motherfuckers out. Like
you still don't want to test him. He's a dangerous man.
You know what I mean? So it's like people like saying, "Oh man, he's back." Like, dude, he was still knocked 3,500 of you commoners the fuck out easily. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, myself included, it's like, dude, that when you it's different levels, man. Just like LZ's finding out, it's different levels, man. And then like you getting JR come back and stuff. Well, he never left. It's just like the shit alliance and stuff like that.
Yeah, that leads a great segue to JR, because JR is that. That's the cloth he's about. He was
the guy.
He's a champion before, and he wasn't no slouch, no asterisk. He was an absolute slaughterhouse. So to watch him 2 rounds back to back, and we were talking about this the last podcast, you did it the night before. You taste blood. Oh my God. Oh, I gotta get this tomorrow. So the amount of I'm ready for whatever, again, that feeling the very next day, I don't care if you're you could be super prepared, right? Mm-hmm. Essentially, like what we saw, we'll get to it, but how when he saw Justin made the mistake, and it's just like, wham, clutch in, just give me power, because I'm going for it. He's already tasted the blood. He wants it. I want to get this, because if all I got to do is go through that man, come on, cuz you're not finna stop me, And so it's like, it's tight when you see somebody get back to form. And the day before when he won, and then he had the little weird emotional thing. But I get it though. You know what I'm saying? Because damn, I just had a kid. My wife used to be part of my program and be at every single event. Now, when I'm out working and I'm hustling, I'm bopping around doing my media stuff to keep my personality out there, she's at home. I don't get to see my family like that. And then I've been struggling my ass off. Everybody know it. I've probably been doubting myself. He's probably had an LZ moment or two, but he's too seasoned to be like, maybe I shouldn't be here. Nah, everything in him. Nah, I believe I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here. I'm the veteran. So for him to have that moment, which everybody probably like, look at this simp, but it ain't like that. It's like, yo, I've been struggling, B, and today it happened. So for him to come the next day, cuz probably running around with a boner, like, yo, I'm ready to get to it. You know what I mean? Like, who want what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's like, you sound like he at the fucking, like, they wrapping up and closing, you know, everybody's packing up and going home. He's sitting at the staging line, like, in his full gear. Like, all right, I'll see y'all tomorrow, man.
Fuck you run.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, go to the hotel. Nah.
Yeah, man, that's dope, though, man, because, like I said, a lot, and then, you know, again, a funny thing is, like, there's some dude that tuned in because they follow the LZ crowd, and he's bringing a bunch of guys, and he was like, there's literally somebody out there who was like, man, who's this JR guy? I guarantee you somebody out there, this some new cat who ain't been around drifting. You know what I mean? So it's new guys that they're learning every day. Like, who's Michael Wessa? We know Michael Wessa been around for
we know he's been around for ages, yeah. But they get to see Gittin and Denofa on LZ's platform. So they may be coming for LZ, and the LZ chats are wild. So they're LZ sitting at the dinner table with a fork and a knife. Yeah. LZ, right? But they're familiar with Denofa. They're familiar with Gittin because he goes and does the driving stuff. And so they're like, oh, okay. So until you give us some LZ, we gonna watch him real quick.
Right.
You know? And so they kind of get that crossover, which is a good thing, and that's why I think it's really dope that LZ not only is showing you this, he's showing you his other life. So he's kind of bringing you around all the things that he does and places he's going, and he comes across these guys in the drift world because he's really becoming part of the world. It's not just I'm a YouTuber that drifts every once in a while. Cuz is a drifter, man. He is in that life, you know. He's part of the everything that it is. So it's pretty cool. And dude, we gotta. Well,
yeah. What's up, man? Cause we could talk about whatever now. We already covered the basic, man. So,
all right, blood.
What's up?
I got an issue with this, and I know my bro, he has an issue with this too. So. My bro struggles with this a lot. I do not be trying to make it seem like I'm big dogging him when we're doing stuff, and you know, it'll appear, especially if it's on video or camera or something or whatever. Oh man, Lex was teaching his boy something. So I know that I'm with him. He ain't teaching me. I'm getting it myself and making it happen. Man, when Vaughn and Justin had their little battle, and just to clear it up for people that didn't understand the Vaughn and Justin thing, Vaughn and Justin have had bad blood before. It's been a real beef thing, kind of. Nobody knew on that point. Those that were in the pits knew about things that happened. And then again, in Seattle, when Tyler McQuarrie thought that he was about to overtake Justin. As a chase driver in Formula D, it's cool as hell if you can overtake. You, sir, are not required to overtake. You're required to show a strength in chase position. Doesn't matter what the lead driver does. If you gamble and throw the dice and it doesn't pay out for you, you were not supposed to go for the overtake. If you can make it happen, cool. There is and I probably grabbed this on the IG just to show people, there is a video of Justin, Big Dick, and June Mang in Atlanta. They're coming out of the keyhole when they used to run up the hill, go in and then out instead of run up and come around and out. They come in and out. June is way offline. Justin's in his RX-7. June's in his S13. Justin powers that car up, runs him down, puts the nose in front of him, and backs off and lets June take it and then go up the hill. That showed, yo, I'll smoke you right now. And then he backs off, and it's all good, you know. But I just showed you I got you, right? And that's what that was.
Yeah.
If he tried to do that overtake and June said, hell no, I'm about to run you into the wall going up the hill, it's Justin's fault. You're supposed to show your control in the chase position. That's why they say if the driver's going all over the place, if you can chase him, then chase him, right? So we get to Tyler McQuarrie. Let's speak on the Tyler McQuarrie one. Tyler went offline. Justin went offline. Tyler thought, oh, I'm about to overtake him, and he passes by Justin. And remember, when you pass on the inside to an instant transition, you're back on the outside. If you didn't make this move across the nose and now you permanently have that spot, if you're just right here, my man, you didn't take a lead position. So when the transition happens, what you're on the outside. Get your stupid ass out the way. You know what I mean? Same thing that happened with Tyler McQuarrie. Thing that happened with Tyler McQuarrie is when Justin made contact, his front wheels are off the ground, so he couldn't steer. And when you ain't stopping a big heavy V8 from pushing them pistons like that. That bad boy ran his ass into the wall. So the same thing that happened with Vaughn. Yes, did Justin go offline? Fact. Did there show a ton of daylight for you, Vaughn? Fact. Could you have sat there and glued it to Justin's door because he went offline and now he's fumbling and bumbling and trying to get it back in line? Yes. You decided to big dig Justin, and we're going to talk about why in a second. He decided to big dig Justin and be like, boy, give me your spot. And what did Justin say when Lorette Nichols walked up to him? Not today. He ran up. He did not have the spot. Wow! Get your stupid ass out the way. You're at fault now. Because your position was chase. It was not lead. You don't take the lead from a dude that's not giving you the lead. If he's not backing down, you can't take it from him.
Right.
That's just how that rule is. So now, because that incident has happened again, they're going to modify the rule with specific verbiage to let people know what you cannot and should not be doing. At first, it's like, yeah, take the line if you can make the pass clean. In Vaughn's mind, which he should have been thinking, because he's got blood in the water. He's tasted blood. He wants it. So any red-blooded alpha male, when you go offline and I'm confident that my car got the grip, boy, I'm taking everything from you.
Right.
But he couldn't make it happen. So yes, mentally, as an aggressive alpha male driver, my boy did what he's supposed to do. Try to take that boy's lunch money. But he couldn't make it happen. So I understand when he's saying, oh, I feel like Justin lost the line, but then he says a key word, which is, this is the problem. It was unsportsmanlike. No, it wasn't unsportsmanlike. It was every essence of the word of sportsman. Because if I know the rules, you ain't about to take it from me. So now we just turned from precision to a contact sport. And I got the parts available to swap them out. You do too. So have at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't like that he tried to push that unsportsmanlike, because nah, dude, don't say that, because then you got the dickheads in the chats that don't know the rule, and JTP doing it again. He's such an asshole. He's so unsportsmanlike. No, he probably didn't even care like that. You know what I mean? It's not. That's not it. It's just like, son, you're not about to just take it from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's called a competition. So it's not. It's a competition, man.
And even though I know I screwed up, I'm not giving up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that happens. Cool. They run it again. Mistake happens. One more time. Let's go. Let's rock. Boom, boom, boom. Things happen. Vaughn gets the win, right? Now, what you got to understand is when you're seeing them driving up on the bank, this is throwback to 05 to 07 era Drift Alliance. Turek, JTP, Vaughn. That's Drift Alliance. You were witnessing a Drift Alliance final. Now, Vaughn kept slowing down on some get your ass away from me shit, right? Slow down. They try to line up, then Vaughn speed up, and then try to close out Justin and get next to Turek. Justin drives up between them. So Turek is sitting here seeing that because he knows what's happened in the pits. He knows about the relationship. So the first thing they all did after they did their donuts, Turek hopped out trying to be the mediator. Hey, guys, come on. Everybody love each other. If people didn't notice what Turek was doing, that's exactly what Turek was doing. Guys, it's cool. Come together. But then, what's the first thing that Vaughn does when he grabs the mic? And he's done this before. Instead of saying, dude, we had an awesome time. Y'all know Mans and me and Mans got a little something, but we're good, though. We had an epic weekend. We took it home yesterday. We're taking it home today. Amazing time. Little bit of battle damage, but we've had this is awesome. Great morale booster. Woo. No, what's he say? Justin was having a tough time. I brought him over here. I helped him out with his platform. So basically, everything that you saw just happens because of me.
Wow.
He may have been almost that close to beating me, but he didn't beat me. But he wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for me.
Damn, that's some WCW shit right there, man.
He literally doing some wrestling, yo.
Damn,
and it's
man.
like,
and then, like I said, you telling me about JTP because I never met him before. I'm pretty sure that didn't sit well with him right there. How he was.
I know it's like he's in his head like, here this motherfucker go again.
It's like,
you know what I'm saying?
It's like that drunk with their fan reunion, man. Like, get that motherfucker out of here, man.
Again, man. But Justin is kind of like, it's tough when everybody's like, yo, you're the villain. Then you're like, yo, honestly, I don't care to not be anymore, but I'm not even going to give y'all anything to be like he's a villain no more. Like, it's whatever. So Justin just, whatever. And I would have, even though I catch it, if I was Justin, I would have let it slide too, because, bro, who cares? You know what I'm saying? It cares. You care. That's why you keep doing this every time we have a battle and you mention what you've done for me, how I got to this point. No, I got to this point from a lot of hard work, trial and error. You know, I don't have a ton of Ford money going at me since I jumped on Ford. I've had a little bit. And now I got a little bit more coming, and I've gotten my platform worked out. With me, I'm not working with hella engineers. It's me and the homies.
Right.
We got something working out now, part after part that comes on board each year. You got all this, and you got engineers and whatever doing the thing. You kind of got a better shake at it. So I wouldn't have said anything. I don't care. I know I'm working hard, whatever. So he did good in my book on that. But it's just like, God damn it, Vaughn. Like, quit being a villain when you're being the good guy. Like, everybody's behind you because now you are the name, but now you got 2 victories back to back, dude. You could have just said, yo, man, awesome battle, dude. You keep hitting me, though. But, you know, we working it out. We no harm, no foul. We both had spare parts. We made it work. It made for an exciting show. And I'm kind of ready to do it again. You know what I'm saying? That would have been great, you know, but it's just the petty me noticed that.
Yeah,
and like,
that's setting the tone, man, for like the next rounds, man. So it would be awesome if maybe we predicted it now, man. It'll be one of those 2 rounds. They'll end up battling again, and maybe it'll flip flop, or maybe JTP will win fucking both next 2 rounds.
Hey,
so,
dude,
shit like that, man. Again, I don't know Justin, man, but I just from the little stuff you shared about me with him, shit like that, or I'm not saying he don't have a fire already, but shit like that will ignite a fucking extra fire in the motherfuckers, man. Like when you do stuff like that publicly, it's like, nah, man, I gotta make. So Yeah, man. It's either way. I think JTP shows up next rounds, which I know he's going to show up, man. There's going to be some aggressive driving coming from his camp, man.
Exposure, because a lot of people didn't notice. Vaughn is going flat out outer zone 1, come down to outer zone 2, flat out quick flick to the outer zone 3, and then scrub speed, inner clip, and then outer zone 4 and out. What Vaughn chose to do on that one more time was ride outer zone, come in, stab the brakes, transition, outer zone, inner, stab the brakes, transition. Now, it's all legal. He is clear to do that. But all weekend, we've been watching him he made it through top 32. So we've been watching him for at least 16 times that he drove through there, not use the brakes in that manner. Now, it's all legal. It's all good for him to do. But it's like, come on, son, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Justin's sitting there in that driver's seat back there, and he like, oh, man's dropping 15 miles an hour, from here to there. And then I get it, because he's done that too. Dude, I remember Canada was the worst. I told Justin, yo, do not run down on dude on the inner clip, because Sammy Stash are coming around, same type of thing. You run a big bank, and then you come down this drag strip that is a drag strip. Drag strip has VHT and everything laid down on it. So it's a transition between there and then a roundabout going back in inner field and then transition out. Man, he runs right down on Vaughn, and I told him, give son some space, because he's going to check up on you. Man, and they got into it. Boom, boom, boom. The headlights are flying everywhere. And
I remember that one.
Told you. Yeah. Vaughn does that to him, and he hasn't did it to him the last time that they drove, and the first go around for this one. But that one more time he did it, and I saw it, and it's like, same Vaughn, but better result. Justin was more controlled, more composed.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, man, a lot of that's why I got you in, man. That shit like that nobody else don't really know about, or like I said, I ain't know like they were. I mean, I knew there were some stuff I heard, but I mean, I'm not close to it, so yeah, man. So that's why we got you on here as the inside analyst. Now, and it's not like we ain't doing no, we ain't spread. You ain't saying nothing that nobody else didn't know that wasn't in the game or following. So
it's all opinion of viewing the driving from what we know, what we look at, and things like that. But little alleged inside stories. There's some interesting things.
Yeah, well, yeah, man. But hey, man, like hearing that, man. Again, we've so thus far, leading into the season, we predicted again how the rounds would play out, being back to back, and it's going to bring crazy results, being that they're so close. But again, something like that, man. Like I mean, there's a bunch of other drivers, of course, that got a shot at. Getting in the finals in the next rounds, but again, to publicly be kind of put out there like that by JR, man. I'm just interested to see how JTP drives the next rounds, man, because
he's driving good, man. I try to reach out and be like, yo, I like what I just saw, And it's really good to see that, like, my wife and my son and even my daughters is like, go Justin, everybody's cheering it at it, and it's tight to watch now as a fan, because I would be standing in that spotter tower probably more nervous than Justin, just pacing and trying to act and be regular, but it ain't. But and it's cool because Osbo came in leading points. Now, just this round, Justin was 8th, and now Justin's 4th, Osbo's 3rd, Vaughn's 2nd, and Ryan Turek is 1st. Mm-hmm. So we're essentially halfway through the season. Turek does the slow creep. He's the constant dude. If Turek stays leveled off, let's say Vaughn has a bad round, and let's say Frederick has another terrible round or something odd happens, and Turek always just cruises through. He's just always somewhere. If you look at any of the standings, Ryan is always there. Mm. He gets the maximum on the top side of points. And, dude, would this be crazy to see Ryan get a championship on the low? Because Yeah, just off of points and just being there in the mix. Hey, something happened to you? I'm still shaking over here, and Von coming through and shaking up both rounds. That was a very, very good leap for him. And it Justin came right along up 4 spots up the standings with him, and dude, it now so we're looking at top 6 guys. Odie Bakshi's had a bad shake. Chelsea had a bad shake. The top 5 guys are covered by 50 points. After that, you've got Forsberg, which has just been he's just been a pinata. Not really. He's been putting up the effort, but it has not been going good for him. Same thing, failures. He had an intercooler split. And, he hasn't had great showings. So the next guy down the list is Forsberg, and he's a whole 100 points off of Ryan Turek. So need I say keep an eye on Ryan? Keep an eye on Ryan through the rest of the season. Watch where he places. He's such the quiet, consistent dude, and just, hey, I'm here. I'm either on the podium of it, and he doesn't speak too loud. Von, you hear him. Ah!
Yeah. First thing I see when I looked at the picture of him, like the signature, like I can imagine him screaming, "Whoa, yeah!" Like
the picture had a sound, that.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it's great. I still go back every time that dude pops up, man. I told you a story before too, and it's a new crowd that they're watching, man. Like the again, how close, like, I want to say I missed my chance to be in his inner realm or whatever, but I did kind of. We were sponsored by the same graphics guy, and the guy, he was right around the time he got picked up by Falcon driving S13, SR20. For the guys who don't know, and the guys like, hey man, it's this dude named JR who drive S13 with SR20. He's gonna be a big thing or whatever. You should get a ride with him. And he could have set it up, and I was like, nah, man, I'm good, man. I got, I'm gonna be a pro drifter myself one day. And sure enough, I'm like, that the motherfucker JR right there, and he's driving a different, But yeah, man, is that I bring that story up to a case in point. Don't be a fucking know-it-all dickhead out there, because you don't know who you're dealing with. And that's just my my story right there. But it's crazy, man, that he went from that, getting the graphics dude in Glen Burnie, Maryland, out of a bedroom house, was doing the graphics for his car. And now he's like, forward this and forward that and everything.
Yeah.
Man. But it's just like his timing was good. He had the right style or whatever. And then also, he had to. It's not about being a world beater, but being consistent enough. That's all they want to put a winning face to their product and in this match. And that's where, like, you kind of, if you're looking to do, like, there's a lot of guys in FD and a lot of different things, man, or whatever. But it's like, to be that guy is a combination of the talent, skill, your marketing, like your overall way you carry yourself and things like that. Is a lot of stuff that adds up into being Brad Pitt. So, and
they came along at the right time. Like, they had the right. Dude, Drift Alliance came in the Bam Margera, Johnny Knoxville era, where Drift Alliance came through as rock stars, bro.
Right.
They had their skateboard style video of drifting, of them traveling, of them freaking smashing beers in their underwear and doing dumb stuff on video. And Tony Angelo just had this awkwardness to him, but Von had the rock star. Like, you can look at all of the DA dudes lined up. Forsberg's quiet and awkward. Turek is a young dude who could be that cat, but he's quiet because he's like, I'm the youngin'. Von is just big enough and loud enough that he's standing out just a little bit more. And then, then they bring on a couple of other guys that were so quiet they just kind of went away. Then you had JTP, and Justin was totally not that. Justin was hip hop, and they were rock and roll, right? So it was always kind of like, I get it, he's DA, but he ain't like DA. But Von had the and then dude, when he got in the Mustangs and it's like, oh, I'm whooping the world, I'm defending America. You know, he had that person that kept him Von Gittin. Von Gittin. That name is weird. Von Gittin. What the hell? That's okay. Yeah. You know, and they're calling him JR. Yeah, JR, this is JR. That's NASCAR type of, you know what I'm saying? That's NASCAR quality of personality. So they just came in right on the bam, I do what the fuck I want era. They did what they wanted with their Drift Alliance Stay Hungry, and then the other Drift Alliance video. They just were partying enough with that Maryland, Pennsylvania, you know, that Connecticut, that East element that was like, yo, we have house parties and shoot guns and fireworks all times of the season, and you know, and then we go and do rowdy shit in our cars and we crash into each other and don't care and whatever, you know. It was the perfect time for them to do that. And you look at like 15, 16 years later, dude, Von Gittin is still that dude, still pushing. He's branded globally. It's just insane what the perfect timing will do from a computer geek. He was a tech nerd.
Yep. IT guy, yep.
Tech nerd that just had enough of the, hey, sir, let me fix your computer. So, I smash beers when I don't have my shirt buttoned up to my neck. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's super cool that's the duality of it. And then because you kind of know how to maneuver that world, you've branded yourself in such a strong way that, I mean, think about the people that have their specific specialty brand with Ford. Aside from the classics people, you know, Carroll Shelby, you know, Saline brands, stuff like that. The only people outside of that world was, Funkmaster Flex. He had a FMF brand for the trucks for a real limited run.
Yeah, I remember that.
You've got Von Gittin in the RTR brand. He's been in the RTR brand for 5, 6 something years? On the low, too.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's pretty. I mean, when you got the backing behind you like that, man, and that's where, you know, I guess some people was like, you know, you've been around the scene so long, you know what people say before they even say it, and it's like things like, oh man, he got all the support and he ain't winning. It's like it's different stuff, man. Like, you know, different things go through people's mind, different moments, different whatever, man. For whatever reason, he wasn't, you know, consistently getting on the podium or like, you know, close to it. It is what it is, man. But I mean, you know, I mean, shit happens, but the backing is there. But that's what I mean. Even with that, his backing and what he has, and when Ford has an unlimited bank account, and like I said, LZ, whatever he has in his bank account, more than most guys to do what he got to do. You know, trucks, support trucks and everything like that. It's still a whole lot of shit, man. Like, you go F1, everybody got money. Even the brokest team in F1 will fucking slaughter the whole. You know what I mean? the Williams dudes just dropped out. I guess they got tired of fucking coming in last or whatever. The F1 dudes, team Williamson or Williams team.
Williams F1.
Yeah, they just weren't really. They weren't really. You know, you keep coming last. That dude's like, all right, dude, I'm done with my billions, man. Fuck this. You know what I mean? After 2 billion, 3 billion, I mean, that's low numbers probably. I'm done. So we ain't getting no fucking wins. I got to get out of here, man.
Yeah. I can only write off for so long.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, so, and then after, you know, 13, 14 in a row, yeah, man, we making progress. Like, oh, you're fucking like, you're like first from last. You know what I mean? So that's far from first. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand. I mean, again, you know, you've been around it. I know it. A lot of the casuals out there don't understand, man. It's driving is like the last thing they should. You shut that door, look at the driver, ready to go. You go. That takes a lot of shit to get to that point, and a lot of people never get to that point, and a lot of the winning is done before you get to that point. The driving is just like the last. That's the easy part. That's the easy part for most guys when you're pro. Not saying that anybody out the corner is going to walk into JR shit and strap in. Again, they will stall. They wouldn't get out of first gear. So the driving, once you got the proficient at your skills, driving is just driving. But getting all that shit, all the practice, getting everything aligned and everything to get to that point, it's a lot of stuff. And people, you only see the end results, and that's why it's good. Again, we keep bringing up LZ because it's really good what he's doing, man. He's showing you all the shit as much as he can show, or as much as he's smart about showing, up to that point of being in that thing, and even text his girl like, man, this shit ain't. I'm about to go back to Pro 2 or whatever the fuck, because
it's scary. I don't know. But again, he's there.
Yeah.
He has good business sense of it. I'm sure JR is like, you know what, I see what you're doing and I like what you're doing. Keep doing it. Right. And business people know what that means, and it's like, all right. He's got his display and his pits on point. It's inviting. People come check me out. Hey, I got a meet and greet at this time. Yo, I got this specific merch on deck. It's just he's doing everything right. He's doing a lot on the business end. He's doing great promoting himself. And he's showing, because think about it, there's so many dudes in Formula D that have been competing for years that haven't seen a top 16 in a long time.
Right.
I mean, years, bro.
Right.
So this is his second weekend pro series, his fourth event, or third event, actually. He got a top 16. And fourth event, he got a top 16. So we got 2 top 16s. He got a pro kill on the first round. He kind of messed himself up with Jeff Jones. He could have beat Jeff Jones. Dude, confidence boost is up. My game's already strong off the field. It's getting better now. And then what does Formula D do? Put out a video from St. Louis, and whose face is the damn thumbnail? LZ.
Smart. That's marketing.
They know what type of time it is, and LZ needs to know that too. Like, all right, we got this. We got this, you know. And again, it's a round that he's done from Pro 2 last year. It's the same round he's coming to this year. Take the data from last year, correlate that to the new setup, run a couple times, very minimal practice, but yeah, it's just time to shake, you know. So, dude, I really think he's going to do very well. He's got the business side together. He's got the marketing side together. He's funding himself very properly. The sponsors that are on board are kind of partners because he can do it on his own. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the big thing too, man. Right there. I was talking to dudes about that, man. That's actually where I'm at with my stuff personally. Don't really have I cut because they weren't fucking really sponsors, man. I ain't pulling no punches, man. Motherfuckers ain't signed no contracts. I told you guys out there before. If you're sponsoring, if you ain't signed no contract saying what they're gonna do, what you're gonna do, that's like some little virtual handshake shit, and it doesn't really mean stuff. So when you get to that point where now, honestly, I do not need fucking any sponsors because I got dealer accounts. I mean, everybody know how business works. You run a shop, you get dealer accounts. What I pay for the parts, not your business. If you're a good customer, I can kind of move some money around a little bit, but not too much. But now I'm like, now when I go to dudes, I'm like, hey man, I'm looking to be a dealer, and it's a backdoor way to. I mean, tell you straight up, it's a backdoor way to do it. But I'm getting a better deal as a fucking dealer than I would get as a driver. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, honestly, I don't need, you know, the whole. It's just, I'm not saying they're bad, man. They definitely are cool when they work and both people on the same page.
To partner with you and use your platform to help me and me try to help you. And I would love for that to work amicably between the two of us.
Right.
But if it doesn't work out, I'm not crying about it. I'm going to go that way.
Right. It's too easy, man. So it's like, but it's just, because somebody just added me to a group the other day, my guy Yoshi, and it's just about proposals. Yoshi's a helpful guy. I'm not sure if you know Yoshi Jeffrey, East Coast guy, but he's really, really a helpful guy. He's a drifter, but he likes more guiding people, like how to get to it and do it properly. And he was like, I guess, showing examples of good ones and bad ones. Like the dude's like, hey man, I got like 30,000 followers on Instagram, man, hooked me up with an 80% off. He's like, fuck out of here with that shit, man. Like, anybody give you 80% off. They'll give you. They won't even give you the key is like 15% is like the standard getting in the door. And I told dudes, even for that 15%, man, don't be out there selling your fucking soul for that shit, because it ain't really, you know what I mean? It ain't really, you can do that by yourself, man, to be honest.
The first agreement I signed was they paid me $600 and I had to run 4 events. Or was it 5? I had to run 5. That's what made me go to LA for the first time, because my series up here was only 4. So I had to go do another round. Can you please explain to the people how much it costs to go do one round of any kind of...
Hey, let me tell you, like, motherfucker, I'm talking about D1 divisionals, which is the... D1 divisionals is what I did. Yeah. I never. Well, actually, divisionals is not even pro-am. Divisionals is fucking the selection to get the pro-am. Yeah. So in Japan, you got D1 divisions, which they just started back up. That feeds D1 lights. D1 lights feeds D1 GP. So you're looking at that thing right there. So we talking about the feeder series to get the fucking pro-ams. I spent $3,500 in Japan. $3,500 fucking dollars traveling. Hotel, I slept in the fucking car. I slept in the truck. There was no hotel.
That's life you live.
Yeah. And then when the dudes who were seasoned and got the money, they're like, yeah, we're going to go out the bar. I don't drink, number one, so I don't want to go be that dude in the corner like drinking a fucking Moscow Mule or some other little girly drink. Like, you know what I mean? I'm cool. I just don't go because they spend $500-$600. That $600 you got, they spend that fucking eating meat on a stick and drinking beer.
Real
you know
shit.
What I'm saying? So I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna go hang out at this girl house. That girl house was some dark fucking park. And I just went there watching my phone until I fell asleep and shit. So it's like shit like that people don't know, man. And like that, I mean, like, and then to spend $3,500 and not even fucking place, not even get a point. You know what I mean?
That's the reality of it. People, the story of it. No, here's what real shit. Here's what the real grind is. You paid me $600 and you promote me as your sponsored driver because it cost me $600 to order tires for that round.
Right.
Every time I start my car, my fuel is $175 for the round. No matter if there was something that went on between each round that I had to fix or repair or retune or realign, readjust or touch up. Dog, then the travel is $150 just locally from my house up to Thunder Hill, which is close. Then the travel is $300 from my house to LA, where the other rounds were. Yeah, hotel? Nah, cuz I was sleeping in my truck that didn't have a heater, and I stopped at a truck stop to get a little plug-in heater that was probably emitting that much heat that I was stuffing up my shirt, freezing, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's real of it, dog.
Yeah.
Just get out there, and it rained my qualifying session, and I placed 17th, which was half a point out of 16, and I didn't even get in the show. Yeah. So, well, I showed up. That was what my agreement was. You know what I mean? When I started doing this shit by myself, for me, by me, I started getting better handshakes with tires, still paying for them, but I don't have to buy nothing. You didn't pay me, so I don't feel obligated to do nothing. Now I'm placing better. I'm winning round, or not, I'm podiuming rounds, I should say, because I've never officially won a round.
Right.
But I'm having more fun, and I don't feel like I'm whored off to do nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the best feeling right there, man. That's like that's actually where I'm, due to my business. Again, I've been away almost 5 years now, and that's what I was telling dudes. He's like, oh man, so you do like actually my car, I got the things right there because it kind of looks cool. People come there, you see the car, but I'm like, dude, half those stickers, not half, 95% of those stickers, I haven't talked to those people in 4 or 5 years. Yo, because when I stop, it was like there's that and that showed you right there. It's no clear example of when you see it yourself in your face, and then when dudes don't even like. I mean, petty shit like motherfuckers like, you know what I mean. I would say it's petty, but it's not, because when you post shit on Facebook, motherfuckers who on your list who you know supposed to be in your circle, when they don't even acknowledge it, I mean, you don't have to. I'm not saying you got to play the like game, but you know what I'm getting at, man. It's like
I'm
like, yeah, but I ain't see a like or anything. I mean, my kids, my nothing. You just
scroll past.
Yeah. So I return the favor. I'm like, all right, I ain't got to delete you because there ain't no reason why I delete you, but we go ahead and unfollow you. So I want, if my shit or my progress, my business, this particular guy, a sponsor of mine, I talked to him 5 years ago about starting my business. I have a business now. I'm doing well in Japan. People know me. I don't track my likes, but I was looking for this one particular guy. I'm not lying. I mean, I will be honest about it. Never on any one of my single business posts, never put a single like or cool or hey man, good work. Just like he felt like he was the only one in Japan that could do what he did, and I'm like, I could do this shit too. And now he's like he kind of don't even. It's disregard for the progression and everything, man. So it's just shit out there like that, man, where like people kind of don't think you could do shit. And I'm like, man, you could do stuff. Case in point, the dude Matta. We'll wrap up kind of with Matta. Austin, man, it's like he's just showing up, man. So if he just show up every round, he does what he does, he has a good chance to fucking to be, second or third. Even if he, you know what I mean, say he got a podium, because he's on a podium, that means you got a potential to go first place. You know what I'm saying?
He could work his way to the first place spot.
Yeah,
he could keep this podium thing every round.
Right.
And they come to third round. And the other guys that have podium don't show up on the podium, and he can keep sitting on that third place podium,
right?
And third place podium himself to series champion.
It's points,
and it can happen. And so if he does come across this, my words to you, right, would be, do Pro 2 one more season.
Yeah.
Really get yourself dialed in to where you are a force and a factor. Even if you don't get top step on the podium, I'm sure you will eventually. You're looking like you have a very consistent car that you're comfortable with driving. Even if you don't stand on that top step, you just know that your name goes around the pits. Ooh, you going up against Austin. You're going up against Austin.
Yeah.
We're going to start saying, yo, Austin Matta is the guy to beat. He's the guy that shows up here in Pro 2. Be that guy for a minute. Just do it one more season. And then step into Pro 1. And at that point, your confidence has been built enough in enough tandem battles that you've won. JTP used to always tell me, dog, all you got to do is win 3 battles. Just do 3. You know what I mean? You'll come out and say, oh, you've got enough experience. And it was tough, man. My first season of Pro-Am, I was like freaking in my head, like screwing it up every time. And then the final round, it's just like, I beat this guy. I beat this guy. I beat this guy. And then I was tripping because somebody had knocked over a cone in front of me, and I went over it, and it was like, dude, it hit the starter solenoid and broke the solenoid, and the solenoid was hanging from the power cables and arcing under. So I didn't know what was happening. I thought I rolled over the piece of the earth and destroyed my car. So I'm sitting up on the hill tripping because I cut my car off while I was on the hill, and I tried to start it, it wouldn't start. So I bump started it, and I'm sitting there idling. I'm in my head like, damn, dude, my car's messed up. I don't know what happened, because every time I'm getting on the throttle, it's swinging and arcing. I'm thinking there's something wrong with the car. It is, technically, but I was thinking something was wrong with the power plant. So I'm in my head. I'm worried. I don't even know that I'm in the finals. My boy run up like, yo, you did it. Oh, my God. Yo, and I'm like, yo, chill. Like, what's wrong with you, right? You know what I mean? I'm like, blood, my car's messed up. You turn your car off, man. Let it cool down. You're going in the finals, man. You need to. I'm like, this car ain't going to start. He's like, word? I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's not going to start, dude. He's like, yo, turn it off. I'll bump start you if you need to. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I am in the finals. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh crap, and that kind of cost me because I was whooping the dude for the win. But when I went transition and came back, man, that car, I was trying to time it. It was like whoop, beer, whoop, beer, whoop. I was like, damn, and it forced me to be like way off, and so I lost. But it just comes, it just happens. Just win 3 battles, win them. And Austin's doing a very good job at just doing that. Just win 3 battles. You win 3 battles, bro. That means you've had 6 runs in various positions, and then when I really took my leap from the first year to the second year, when I came the second year, people were like, yo, what did he just do? Because he's coming through crazy. I literally would just go to my fun run event, Sonoma, and just chase people. Never allow them to chase me. I'm all right with my lead runs. I want blood, and I just chase people. And it was to the point where I was doing 26 events a year, 26 events of nothing but chases, 26 events of nothing but solo runs or chases. Like, that was it. That's all I was working on. And then it was just like, oh man, well, he just did this and he jumped from here to here, and it's really weird. And then I went away from Pro-Am because it was like, dog, I can't afford this. I'm tired of running up and down the road on my own. I don't see myself going and spending all that money in Formula D, so y'all can have it. But Austin has the drive to be the pro. That's why I like seeing him and LZ that have the means and have the drive to go do it. You see it in them, and just keep working. Keep your head down working. Keep that visor down. Keep that helmet strapped. Keep yourself snug in that seat, because the more you keep plugging away at it at a specific level to where you feel like you're really knocking a hole in that level, then it's like, all right, I'm doing my thing here. Let me see what it's all about on the next level up. So I say that to say, Austin, just plug away at it. Just keep winning battles. Then when you do become overall champion, because it really looks like you will, because the only place to go is second place and then first place. And you got 2 more rounds to do either of the 2. And it's just kind of that simple, being that consistent. But I would like to see staying 1 more, unless somebody comes through and says, yo, or you already got it. And it's like, yo, nah, this is what I want to do. Then do that. But,
Is that like you said, that's great advice, man, because that's one of those things, like, I mean, myself personally, if I got, when I return back, I'll definitely get up there. But like, for example, D1 Lights, D1 is like one of those things where, like, I don't give a fuck about D1 GP. A lot of people don't, it's falling off, but it's like one of those things where if you don't get that license, man, it'll be like, people will be like, oh yeah, you got pro license, but what about D1? They ask that shit every time. Every time a customer, they'll be like, yeah, I got pro license and King of Drift King of Europe. He's like, oh cool, nice, but what about D1? I'm like, straight to my face. I'm like, nah, I don't have. So that's all I know. So it's like UFC, like we said before, you could be the champ, the 15-time defending champ of the fucking THQ championship. It's like, or a claim championship. Like, who the fuck's a claim? That's a video game maker.
Who cares what you did in D1? Oh, yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like so.
I have more fun and more people rocking with me doing Super D events than whatever I've done drifting anytime else. And it was because the excitement that you put forth. You know what I mean? Like I said, Austin rode a wall and didn't boost the car. It didn't really get too upset, but all his parts are, flopping in the wind. And it's like, oh, that's crazy, cuz really out here getting active, And like I said, again, if there's still somebody hating on him for his younger, more foolish ways, I don't think so.
I was just about to say that when you're giving the advice on, like you said, State Pro 2, which I agree with. That we brought it up last time, but again, because the internet moves so fast, only the guys who know about that shit is our age. the newer guy, and and they probably some people who watched it probably went back and maybe the 100 whatever people watched it, whatever went back and like, oh cool, looked it up, but it's only the guys that the guys that are older and then, but it wasn't like some shit that we held on to. I just noticed. I put the correlation like that's Austin. Yeah, so it's the new guys don't know. They just see that dude on podium like, hey, he's gaining new fans. I'm pretty sure every event you do, because he's doing FD Pro 2. I mean, my shit went like, I mean, dude, I gained on my personal profile and on my business page, not business pages, but my other stuff, my driver little page. I gained like 5,000, 6,000 people, man, and like it was like a day or two straight followers. Cause the guy, it was live streaming, and my guy at that time, Drift Stage, was sharing it around, and leave my clicker. It was just going up and up and up, man. People would just see you, and the thing about it, man, it really sucks is, man, everybody, if you're doing well, you're in my book, you're doing well, you're doing positive, you're a winner or whatever. But like when people see you out there on their feed, they're like, oh man, this dude's the guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's doing well, man. So people want to follow. They want to follow perceived greatness, man. And you know what I mean? It's a lot of. It doesn't matter where LZ places, where he places. They're both in the grid lining up, and I'm talking about for guys who want to be there, guys who want to do this, and they just can't get there, whether it be skills, money, or whatever. It's 300, 400, 500 dudes that want to be in their position, losing or whatever, but on that feed, and they're not for whatever reason. Austin and LZ and whoever else that didn't place top whatever is still there. So I look at it like that. And when people try to clown on motherfuckers, or I had dudes in my pro event, because a guy told me, he said, yeah, there was some Americans here saying, man, your car didn't seem as fast as it should be. I'm like, they didn't know. I put that car together in fucking 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, that car was a shell. The day before the event, that car had no stickers on it. 2 days before the event, the paint was still wet. They didn't know none of that shit. 4 days ago before the event, I drove it for the first time in 2 years to a alignment booth, and that was the first time I drove the car. And then an hour before the event, the first time I drove the car and drifted it and tested it was in my first pro event. That you don't do that shit, man. And like when I know my story and what I had to do, you know what you had to do, sleeping in a truck stop with a heater up your jacket, and that's where you be like, man, what the fuck ever, man. Whatever these motherfuckers think, let them think that shit. I know what I did to get here. I know I almost died, actually. No shit, trying to get to the event. My face got all blew up and shit. You remember that shit? So like, people like they just don't. Yeah, remember that? Yeah, the fucking paint booth exploded, man, when I was painting the shit for the car. Yeah, man. It was
I thought you were gonna say hot radiator busting your face.
No, man. I was fucking explosion. I was doing too much shit at the same time. I was prepping while painting, and we had a fucking a kerosene heater. I had a kerosene heater heating the paint booth, and I put the fucking I put the can right over top of the fucking kerosene heater.
Oh my god!
And then I set it down, right? I set it down, and the can, the heat rises and shit. So the kerosene heater was hitting that bitch, and I'm working on I was sanding a fucking part of this brace, and I hear the fucking can click, and by the time I turned around, that bitch shot in the air, exploded, and then yeah, man. So all that shit went in my face. Luckily, I had glasses on, so the sunglasses were all fucked. The paint was all around my face, and it just got all on my nose and my lips and shit. There's a video up on that stuff, man. And and then also I closed the fucking paint booth to keep the air in. So as I'm on fire, I can't see my airways are closed because all the fire went down my throat. I had a ventilator on my mouth like this, like how everybody wearing the mask and shit, like just above their mouth. So half the fire went in my mouth, half the fire deflected, but it was enough to close my airways and shit. So I'm in there, can't see. Only thing that saved my life, man, is my military training. I mean, I literally had to fucking calm the fuck down. And let my shit open back up. Because they tell you that when you get hit by IED, you're going to swallow fire and you can't fucking breathe. So if you start fucking panicking and grabbing your throat and shit, you're closing your shit further. Just calm the fuck down. If you're lucky, your throat will unlock. And then that's what happened. And then I went out, I punched my way outside. I'm in the grass rolling around because the fire also, which you don't do in the desert, I had a fucking cotton shit under my jumpsuit. So my jumpsuit was flammable, but the cotton under wasn't. So the fire went inside my fucking shit and was on fire inside. So I had to unzipping that shit. And this is all while I'm on fire on the ground. And then I get up and shit. I feel my face and shit. And then I look over. This fucking bitch is watching me the whole time, dude. Just watching me. And then when I looked at her, she closed the fucking curtain. I'm like, this. She pretty much almost watching my burn to death, dude. You know what I'm saying? And all the whole story culminated into me making my first pro event and making top 16. So hey, there you go, man. You know what I'm saying? And motherfuckers never know, you know what I mean, what it takes to get to an event. You know what I'm saying? That's just one event.
It's looking like Spawn.
Oh yeah, it was, man. My shit grew back. It was it grew back so much, even so that Tsuchiya son had kind of like pointed at it, and I was like, I couldn't really talk to him. I was like, you know, fire or whatever. And he's like, like, you know, gambate or whatever. So yeah, my skin grew back, but it was discolored. And my lips, luckily, that shit that grew back or whatever. But yeah, man, that's some. I mean, pretty much literally fucking dying. Yeah. Literally dying almost to get to the event, man. Where it's much more important shit in life. But to me, at that time, it was important that pro license did legitimize my company, and I do have I am a pro license drifter. And the way I hold my head high is, hey, man, I made top 16 in the event. I could have podiumed if I didn't make one mistake, which was a misshift. And fucking I could have been on a fucking podium in my first event, and the first and second was Nakamura and Daigo. So you know what I mean, that would have been cool, man, but it didn't work out that way. But still, I look at it, I got my nod. I got my. I mean, if I'm dropping an event with Daigo, fucking Saito and Nakamura, that's a pro event. I don't give a fuck what you say. And everybody in Japan was trying to say, well, it wasn't D1. And we're like, who the fuck gives a fuck? Daigo and Nakamura battle for first and second. That's a fucking pro event. You know what I'm saying? And it's as pro as you're going to get. But it is what it is, man. But hey, man, look, man, we always get on the good shit. I got to open up the shop.
No doubt. It's the early morning for you.
Yeah. Oh, shit, man. I looked at my phone. Man, Dana White going to give Conor McGregor fucking 39-year-old Diego Sage.
That.
Oh, let me see, man. Let me see what
you see. John Bones trying to shake it up.
Yeah, dude. I knew. They said, dude. He tweeted. He's on Twitter like a motherfucker. He tweeted, "Hey man, would you guys be mad if I got my belt back?" He's like, dude, you already got the belt, man. Come on, fuck on.
Fucking have it ass up. Stay in it, fool.
Yeah.
Quit losing, coming, get with it.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. It's Conor and Poirier. So the Poirier, they're gonna fight again. But and then I'm looking at thing, you know, John Jones. They going back. They're gonna fight. It's gonna be a super fight, and it's like everybody's gonna tune in. But I think that fight needs a crowd, man. Like, I mean, it's certain crowds or certain fights you for sure need. I mean,
even
the Costa fight, if you know he knocked him out like that, considering how fucking much bigger, muscular wise, everybody looks at the body and think that's all what it is and everything. But I imagine that fight, man, imagine actually anything, because I don't know if you're watching it, man, but the fights have been fucking actually better with no crowd. It's weird.
Yeah.
But imagine like the knockouts and shit like that with a crowd. It'll be like, you know, the pandemonium and the spitting and the bear throwing.
You hear the cracks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of a little bit tighter than hearing an uproar after the guy gets socked out.
Yeah.
Like hearing cracks.
Yeah.
It's like,
especially the dudes get kicked in the junk and shit, because they be on the ground like, it's like he's like yeah. So he's like, man, you hear that shit, man, and then they hear a motherfucker get what it sounds like, get knocked out. You get kicked in the fucking face, man, like that shit, man. But yeah, man, I think Adesanya and Jones are definitely gonna fight. It was gonna be in light heavyweight, or I think it'll be because Jones is gonna the heavyweight, and Adesanya, that's a lot of weight to put on his frame, man. It'll change.
Yes, he's a dude, yeah.
But they say, people say small, but when you see him, he looks a lot bigger in person, because he's tall and lanky and long, and most guys are way more than what they fight on it. But I think he could definitely make like heavyweight 205. easily and not be like too weighed down. Jones is a big fucking dude, bigger than 205. So
yeah, big dude, man.
So he, and his brothers are NFL dudes and everything too. So a lot of people don't know they just got that good water. You know what I'm saying?
They got that good water.
Yeah. And shit, actually, if I'm correct, I think both his brothers got Super Bowls. Both of them collectively got Super Bowl rings. So you're talking about high level genetics, man.
Genetics, and that athlete is real in him, man.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I would like to see it happen
They got the same. They're like almost the same fighter, the same tall, linky. So it's like So who's gonna have the reach advantage? I don't know who longer wingspan, but it's like they both good at keeping motherfuckers away until they want to touch them. So it's gonna be like who's gonna engage. So I think, man, honestly, predicting it, I think it'll be I think we want it to be like an electrifying fight, but I think it'll be a fucking stalemate, man.
You think so?
Yeah, because Adesanya Jones is smart, and he ain't gonna fucking dive in. Adesanya's smart, and he's not gonna just dive in. So it'll be funny as fuck if it turned into a grapple match. And wrestling wise, Jones got the thing. A lot of the people don't know Adesanya is actually pretty good in jiu-jitsu as well. So it'll be crazy if it turned into a grappling match, because I think their striking will like neutralize each other, and to the point where they just won't be able to use it. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, man. But that's what some other shit.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. That's what motherfuckers like. This is supposed to be an FD recap. We talking about UFC.
We talking about combat now.
But hey, man, shit, that goes to show, man. Everything in life, man, it's just waking up and keeping your job, man. Because there's some other motherfucker out there that will take it if you ain't doing right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I seen your I said the gigawatts, the fucking You said a picture last week of the power box or whatever. The wiring was kind of janky on it or whatever, and
zapping my house.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting in and you'd be here. Matter of fact, dude, we were trying to do the podcast when my house was doing that weird.
Oh yeah.
That's why I kept dropping, because it was killing my Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
That's what ended up happening. That's how I realized what was happening. Later that night, the house was tripping and lights are flickering, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I go outside just to cycle the breaker, and it's like Back to the Future. It's shit shooting in my box. I said, we gotta watch the house. I have a good fresh fire extinguisher in my truck. So I'm like, oh, this is on deck, because I'm not about to lose the house. Yeah.
So is this old breakers and shit, or old fuses, or?
Dude, I had a breaker that was notorious in the 50s and 60s and 70s for taking people's houses out, and it was sitting right there in the back of my house. So it was doing what it was known to do.
So they had to shut the whole thing down and swap the whole box, or?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Quick, fast. I was glad that my boy, I got a problem. All right, I got a solution. And here he came. So I was like, good, because it was that close to, being pretty bad. I had to set the breaker halfway and it would quit doing the dumb shit, but it wouldn't cut off.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely out there, man. People got to be safe with that shit, man. I actually had some shit in my shop the other day, old breaker. It actually wasn't going to anything, but the wind, I guess, the wind was blowing pretty hard, and it, it's an older building, so maybe some of the wires are not as shielded as it should be, and I think they touched some shit and they kept blowing out, or it grounded completely, because I would flip all the shit on and then everything would fall off, and then the guy was like, cut one at a time, cut them on, and then that one went off. He's like, I keep that one off, and it didn't go to anything. So it was like shit like that, man. Like or like I'm guilty of it too. Overcharging fucking batteries. You're not supposed to leave it in your shop, and your shit be sitting on there. Your DeWalt, your drill, shit, and that shit says when it stops flashing, take that bitch out the charger, because now you're at the point of you're cooking that motherfucker or you're killing it. So like little safety tips on the way in. So you might, if you didn't watch it all the way through, it's on you. So unplug your shit, man, and everything. But hey, man, like you say, man, this have you got any events or anything coming up recently? You got a plug or anything like that, or any videos you're going to be dropping soon?
I've been doing this grip thing, and I'm going to be taking the car. The guy said he does certain lap time in Laguna Seca, and I'm gonna document if it's an easy achieving, if it's an easy achievement, or if it's a little tougher than I think. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll be keeping that up on the vlog. I'm getting that car ready for it. Been doing a lot of back row toge with it. I'm comfortable with it, but we're gonna see how it does on the track.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good, man. All the guys are there again. Just stay tuned for more stuff to come out. Again, with all this Corona stuff going on. Leaving it at the tail end because I don't like dramatizing shit. I already talked to Lex about it, man. I thought I was gonna skip COVID without a test, man. I actually got a test the other day because I went out, took some cars down, dropped them off. It's pretty safe, but I got an instant fever, and I know my body. I knew it was some normal shit. I just lack of sleep, and immune system drop a little bit. It's a little gremlins creep in the system. But I wanted to make sure for my customers that I was safe, so I did get a blood check, COVID check. Everything came back negative. So that's why I was away for like a few things or whatever. But putting that shit online like that, there's no need to. Everybody's tripping on that shit anyway. So I'm negative. You know what I mean? No STDs, no COVID, none of that stuff. But and also on some uplifting shit, man. It's gonna. I don't know why she hiding it, but my wife's pregnant and shit, and we had to. Well, no, it's not it yet. So she hit me up and got the check, right? She's like, yeah, we haven't. So we're gonna have twins. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So we were trying to close out at 4, so now we're gonna have I'm like, we definitely not having 6, so we're gonna go ahead and get that. So yeah, we having twins. We don't know what sex they are yet. But so I got, man. So 2 for 1.
Well, sir.
2 for 1.
You might want to close shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say shit.
I've been talking about this shit for the last year. I'm like, hey man, what we gonna do? Like, you gonna get whatever? I'm gonna, because I'm like, I'm like,
are you fixed or me?
Yeah, somebody gotta get fixed, but somebody gotta get fixed, man, because your shit's very receptive, and I'm very fucking out here like 12, 15 kids and shit, man. Then now her friends are like looking at me all weird, like, it's a high probability. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna happen. It's not. It's like, well, I mean, shit, man. I might start selling some juice out there and shit, man. Shit, that'll get me like a few cars and shit. You know what I'm saying? Give me some give me some. But yeah, man. So that shit's gonna be interesting, man. You know what I mean? It may delay things further, but it is what it is. It'll, my shop still be open. My kids are getting older and shit, so I'll definitely want to have staff in the future. And but yeah, I don't foresee y'all on wanting to go to college, but if they do, that's gonna be some shit.
Yeah.
But I'll kick it to them how I'll let them know, man, like that. Me personally, I think a trade. I mean, I went to vocational trade school, and then when you look at the amount of money a trade dude is making versus the college person who's still paying on that shit and they never pay it off. The trade guy's already making $90K a year. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
I'm a college dropout and I run a business here in Japan. And man, it is what it is. But I make that decision on your own. But I would never force that shit down my kid's throat. Like, you got to do that unless you're trying to be a neurosurgeon or whatever. Then yeah, you got to go check that box. But that's not your goal, man. I'm not doing it to my kids. People might call me a bad father for that, but no, I'm actually teaching them how to select. And I don't know how shit is here in Japan as far as the student rates and everything, but in the States, I know a lot of motherfuckers who called me stupid when I dropped out, and I'm doing extremely better than them. And they got degrees, they got masters, and they still they ain't doing too hot. You know what I'm saying? So like we said, kind of going back to it, that master's degree, that bank account, all that stuff like that, it don't mean they don't correlate to that podium. There's a lot of shit that goes, that goes into it. You can have a master's degree and have a fucking personality of a peanut. It ain't gonna work out for you, man. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be that dude like JR or whatever. I don't know, is whatever college drop, a GED guy, but you just got that. You got that personality, and somebody wants, and bam, you're the next fucking Cardi B. You know what I mean? Not the brightest apple in the barrel, but making millions or whatever, man. However you got to get it done. But hey, man, we'll leave you out there. We are dropping all these life gems and shit out there. I gotta get out there. I got people out there waiting at my gate to get in. You start blowing my phone and everything. It's all good. But hey, man, guys are there again. Like, subscribe, share, and everything's gonna be the same thing. Always here. Always a good time with Lex, my guy. Thank you for your time, taking out time for the family and everything. I know the day is wrapping up there. My day is just getting started, and you know what I mean, it's all good, man. So keep it positive. You know what I mean. I'm gonna pull up this presidential debate, and because I heard that shit is just hilarious. So I just want to laugh. So that's just like almost a podcast right there. Just like I heard Trump talking about the sons and shit, and one son died, you know, brain cancer, and the other son was a drug addict. Like Trump's is fucking this shit, everything. I heard it's good, yo. I heard this shit. Yeah, dude.
I was looking at all the international responses from this.
It's looking bad, man. You talking about your dude trying to take fucking gas cars away? Like, these motherfuckers are tripping over here, man.
Like, he ain't gonna sell no more gas powered cars. Yeah. Stupid. Yeah. That's American jobs, but whatever.
Hey, so what's gonna happen now, motherfuckers? Gonna start smuggling fucking 73 fucking Caprice Classics through the fucking border with dope inside of it.
Be able to keep and drive them, but ain't no new cars gonna be coming gas in California. So it's like, well, y'all like to cut our power off,
right?
Because we keep having fires. So yeah, I can't charge my car, cuz.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good job, man. So, yeah. I don't. I mean, for us, to be honestly, we don't really fuck with new cars. I mean, to be honest, you know what I mean? We really don't get down with new cars like that. So it's like, yeah, whatever, man. You know, as long as you leave the 60s through the 90s alone, we're good to go. Don't fuck with none of those.
About it, to be honest, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, honestly, shit. I mean, you got a goddamn 890 Super with a 20-year-old, 25, 30-year-old engine in it, because that shit still hits the 2J. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like nobody really gives a fuck about the new stuff. But hey, man, we're starting a podcast, man. But hey, guys out there, be safe. Do what you gotta do. Again, thanks to my guy Lex. Again, it's just stuff's gonna be linked down in the bottom and everything, and you'll be able to follow his YouTube for the escapades there, and then of course my stuff there. Of course, all you're seeing is the podcast stuff, but if you look under the playlist, there's a bunch of stuff is already organized, so you can click on like the how-tos or like the parts and stuff like that. So it looks like all podcast stuff, but then you'll see like a mixed video with me doing like a random dyno check and shit like that. So again, guys, thanks for and also. The last time I checked in, I was sitting at 5,800 something subscribers for the last like 2 years, and since the last video, I'm at 6,080. So again, man, it's going up and everything. And thanks guys up there for got 151 subs. And actually, man, a lot of that's been thanks to you, man. A lot of the highest volume ones has been the ones we done together. So people are seeing those, and you know, again, shit don't happen overnight. You're not gonna get that one
head down,
you know what I mean?
Pushing.
Yeah. Just you know what I mean? Hey, it would take me another year or whatever to get to 7,000. It is what it is. I ain't in it for that. You know what I mean?
But hits, the content will be there. It'll be playlisted up so you can find.
They'll be going in the back shit like, oh man, I didn't know you had all this shit. Like, yeah, man, cool. Go enjoy it, man. That's toilet content. Sit on the toilet and watch it till your legs go dead.
Yeah.
All right, man. Lex, thanks for being. I'm gonna get out of here, man, and we'll sign out. So it's going to be Donna signing off from Masao, Japan. Lex signing off from Richmond, California. See you guys later. Peace.